Gary, thank you very much, and welcome everyone into Wildcat Park, where it's district baseball, the Sulphur Springs Wildcats and the Marshall Mavericks here from Wildcat Park. Umpires meeting going on right now with coach of the Mavericks. That would be Derek Dunaway, and the Wildcats coach Jared Hammock. I think the PA announcer, who is Jason Meskimen, has he may have introduced Marshall already.
Number 22, Javarius Mitchell. And number 23, Carlos Hill. Coach of the Marshall Mavericks is Garrett Dunaway.
Yeah, he just introduced the reserves. Here's the Wildcats now.
Now your lineup for your Sulphur Springs Wildcats. Leading off, playing center field, number 2, Mayor Millsap. Batting second, playing left field, number 6, Matt Singleton. Batting third baseman, number 12, Caden Wallace. Batting cleanup tonight, right field, number 18, Ty Stroud. Batting fifth on the mound, number 9, Hayden Hurst. Batting sixth, the DH, number 11, Blake Weiss. The catcher, number 15, Jake Armstrong. Batting seventh, first baseman, number 24, Aiken Owens. Batting eighth, playing second, number 4, Colt Stillman. Batting ninth is the shortstop, Kobe Albritton, number 1. The man of the Sulphur Springs players, number 3, Griffin Crawford. Number 7, Reese Raby. Number 8, Dawson Carpenter. Number 10, Matt Sherman. Number 14, Carson Fitton. Number 17, Hector Martinez. And number 19, Matt Mitchell. Coaches for Sulphur Springs, Bruce Silman, Shane McQueen, and head coach, Jared Hammock.
And should have the national anthem now, I would assume.
Now, if everybody will please rise. Gentlemen, if you will remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
And a loud play ball from Jason Meskimen. And the Wildcats pitcher, Hayden Hurst, begins his warm-ups to his catcher tonight, Jake Armstrong. Let's go ahead and set the Wildcats defensively. Down at first base is Aiken Owens. Colt Silman is at second. Caden Wallace is at third, and Colby Albritton is at shortstop. Out in left field is Matthew Singleton. Mayor Millsap is in center, and Ty Stroud is in right field for the Wildcats. Wildcats 2-1 in district play, and I believe Marshall is 2-2. That was what Mac Preps had them at. As Hayden Hurst, he pitched against Longview here at home. Actually, I think he might have been the pitcher too at Mount Pleasant on the road. I think he's got a couple of wins. I'm doing this all by memory, so that's always a little faulty. Those were Tuesday night games, and he's the Tuesday night starter. So he's got a couple of district wins. And that Longview game right here in this park was a beauty. He really shut them down. I think like 3 hits, maybe 3 or 4, with just one run given up. There's Armstrong's throw to second base. Shortstop Albritton. And Hayden Hurst getting ready to pitch here, and he'll be facing Hayden Callahan, Jim Weaver, and Garrett Cotton, the first 3 Marshall hitters. Callahan, a right-handed hitter, is playing first base for Marshall tonight and getting ready to step in that batter's box as the righty Hayden Hurst gets ready to deliver tonight's first pitch. And there it is, and buzzed inside, just about hit Callahan. The first pitch tonight is at 7:01. So just about on time here. And the 1-0 pitch from Hurst. That was over, but too low, and the count goes to 2-0 on the first hitter here, Hayden Kelleher, the first baseman for the Marshall Mavericks. Beautiful night for baseball here at Wildcat Park. That was a high pitch, and 3-0 the count to the Marshall leadoff hitter. Infield is back at short and second base. Third baseman even with a bag. First baseman back a little deep. There's ball 4, so Hurst opens the ball game with a base on balls to Callahan. Here's Jim Weaver. He's the Marshall third baseman, is hitting in the second hole. And a left-handed hitter. And let's see if he might be trying to put down the sacrifice bunt. And Hurst from the stretch, and the pitch on the way is bunted. Here's Wallace picking it up with a bare hand, fires to first in time, and a nice play by Albritton to cover third base. Callahan moved to second, but he did not move all the way over to third, with Albritton over there covering the bag. And Aiken Owens could have had a shot at him there. So Marshall does the sacrifice, and a good play by Caden Wallace to make sure they recorded the out. So Maverick at second with 1 out, and here's Garrett Cotton. He swings and hits a base hit out to right field. Fielded out there. The runner rounds third, and he's going to hold at third base. Getting to that ball quickly was Ty Stroud, and he fired the ball back toward the infield. So Marshall with a walk and a base hit. Runners at the corners now with just 1 out, and here's Jacob Oden. And he's the catcher for the Mavs, hitting in that number 4 spot. So Hurst in hot water here in the top of the first inning with a base on balls and a solid single over the head of the second baseman, Colt Silman, out into right field. So first and third now, and let's see if the Mavs try to swipe second from the stretch. And the pitch by Hurst, a breaking ball in there for a call, strike 1 to Jacob Oden. So 0-1 the count for Hayden Hurst. Boy, what a pitcher he was last year. I think he was 5-0 for the Wildcats. And the 0-1 pitch, it's up too high. A nice snag there by Jake Armstrong. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Armstrong kept that ball from going back to the screen. There's a lot of foul territory here in this ballpark, and anything that gets away like that is almost a sure run. Here's a 1-1 pitch, big breaker, and the runner takes off for second, and Cotton steals second. So Marshall does indeed have runners at third and second now, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike to Jacob Oden with 1 out here. And we're in the top of the first inning. And 2-1 pitch by Hurst is swung on and popped up. Foul territory. Armstrong coming over and makes a catch. Nicely done by Jake Armstrong right in front of Caden Wallace. Third baseman came down, but Armstrong took control from the very beginning. And that is out number 2 for the Wildcats. They're halfway home. Well, 2/3 of the way home. Let's just say it that way. 2/3 of the way home getting out of this inning. Third and second for Marshall, 2 outs. And here's Braden Robbins, the left fielder. First pitch, swing and a miss. Ball got away at the plate, but right at the feet of Armstrong, so nobody going anywhere on that. Strike 1 the count to Braden Robbins, the Mavericks left fielder. Hurst from the stretch, and the 0-1 pitch. Inside, a matter of whether or not the batter swung at the ball. The umpire says no, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Braden Robbins for Marshall. He's the 5-hole hitter, and again the left fielder for the Mavs. And Hurst with the stretch, and the 1-1 pitch on the way, hit back to the middle for a base hit. Center fielder coming in, 1 run is in. Here's the throw toward the plate, cut off. There's a throw to second, is not in time as the runner moves to second, and a 2 RBI single for Braden Robbins for Marshall. And the Mavs are up 2-0.
Dallin Shaw.
As Callahan and Cotton scored runs for the Mavs. That's the second hit in the inning for Marshall. And here's Dallin Shaw, the second baseman, with the runner still in scoring position now as he moved up on that throw to the plate. First pitch to Shaw, call strike, hit the outside part of the plate. So the Mavs with a walk and a couple of hits, including that very timely hit back up the middle, it scored 2. And the 0-1 pitch on the way, misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Dallin Shaw. Dallin's a name I haven't heard since Dallin Sant was playing around here. I'm not sure it's spelled the same way. I think his was spelled just a little bit different. There's a breaking ball up too high, 2 balls and 1 strike. This Dallin is D-A-L-L-A-N. I believe the other Dallin, the one here in Sulphur Springs, D-A-L-L-I-N. I'll have to ask Jeff Sant if I see him anytime soon. There's a throw back to second, out at second base as the runner got too far off the base. A nice throw by Armstrong to the shortstop covering, and the Wildcats pick a runner off the base. But Marshall gets 2 runs, 2 hits, no Wildcat errors, and nobody left on base. We played half an inning here from Wildcat Park. It's Marshall 2, and the Wildcats coming to bat. Bottom of the first inning, and the Wildcats hitters will be Mayor Millsap, Matthew Singleton, and Caden Wallace. Be the first 3 scheduled to hit here against a right-hander for Marshall. This is Dante Enriquez, pitching for the Marshall Mavericks. And Mayor Millsap, may recall his brother Gavin Millsap played on this Wildcats team a couple of years ago. And Mayer in there batting from the left side for the Wildcats, leading off in the bottom of the first inning. Enriquez first pitch on the way, swung on, grounded to second base on a couple of hops, gobbled up, throw to first is in time. That went from Dallin Shaw over to Hayden Callahan. So 1 pitch and 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning, and that'll bring up Matthew Singleton. Matthew, a right-handed hitter for the Wildcats. He's out in left field tonight. Millsap, the center fielder for the Wildcats. And Enriquez ready to work. And the right-hander pitch on the way. Missed outside, ball one to Matthew Singleton. By the way, that first inning, Hayden Hurst, 16 pitches. That's not too bad. Not bad at all. Here's the next pitch. Swung on a line drive, hit to shortstop, and Garrett Cotton reaches up and snags that one. I thought that had a chance for left field, but a liner to the shortstop for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 out, and only 3 pitches. These Wildcats coming out swinging tonight. And here's Caden Wallace, number 3 hole hitter against Enriquez. And he winds. And the pitch on the way to Wallace. Caught the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Caden Wallace down at third. Hayden Hurst is normally at third, but pitching tonight, so Wallace moves over to third base, waggling that bat up there. And the 0-1 pitch, and that's right in there, poured right in the strike zone. The count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs and nobody on for the Wildcats in the bottom of the first, and they trail 2-0. And Enriquez with the 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3. So 3 up and 3 down for the Wildcats. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. So he played 1 inning here at Wildcat Park. It's Marshall 2 and the Wildcats 0. Top of the second inning, and the Marshall Mavericks will have their bottom 3 hitters coming up. They'll have Dylan Thurman, Brent Burris, and Henry Roth. 7, 8, and 9 for the Mavericks here in the top of the second. Marshall 2 runs and 2 hits. The Wildcats no runs and no hits after the first inning. And here's the right fielder for Marshall. This is Dylan Thurman. Right-handed hitter steps into the batter's box against Hayden Hurst. And Hurst from the stretch out there. And the pitch on the way is foul back into the screen. Looked like it might have deflected off the mask of Jake Armstrong. That'll wake you up. It's a good old mask, you think about that, but boy, that can jar you. Loosen up those feelings. And the 0-1 pitch on the way, a breaking ball, just missed inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Thurman. We start the top of the second inning, and Marshall again leading 2-0 here from Wildcat Park. Next pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Thurman a little tardy on that pitch from Hayden Hurst. Poured the heat in that time. And now Hurst ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the 1-2 pitch, swung on, hit foul off to the right side. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. The first hitter for Marshall here in the top of the second inning, the right fielder, Dylan Thurman. And Hurst, the 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on and grounded to second base. Colt Silman gobbles it up, throw to first. Nicely done by Colt. Throwing over to Aiken Owens at first, and that's out number 1 for the Marshall Mavericks. That'll bring up Brent Burris, and he is the DH tonight. He's batting for the pitcher, Dante Enriquez. And so here's Burris, another right-handed hitter from Marshall, hitting in the 8 hole. And a pitch by Hurst over, but too low for ball 1. Hurst trying to keep that ball low, but a couple of times he's been just a tad too low with the pitch. And the 1-0 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. And again, the heat from Hurst, and Burris unable to catch up to it. The count's even, 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. That pitch was breaking outside, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes on Burris. Again, the 8-hole hitter from Marshall. Former Wildcat player in the stands. I want to mention his name. He was a good one to watch. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. It was dropped by Armstrong. He picks it up and fires to first to complete the strikeout and that's out number 2. Colson Hale is in the audience, or in the crowd here tonight. Good to see him. He was always a real live wire out there on the field. He reminded me of Pete Rose, the way he played. And the first pitch to the 9-hole hitter for Marshall, and that's Henry Roth, is down too low for ball 1. 2 outs, nobody on. We're in the top of the 2nd inning. Or the Marshall Mavericks. Hurst trying to go up, get them up and down. There's a swing and a miss, and he looks much sharper here in the 2nd than he did in that first, where he allowed a couple of hits and walked the batter. And that walk came around to score, by the way. 1-1 pitch, swung on, hit foul back into the screen. 1-2 the count. Yeah, it's amazing the statistical thing, those leadoff walks and how many times they'll score on you. Here's a 1-2 pitch, big breaking ball, tap back to the mound. Hurst gobbles it up, throw to first, and 3 up and 3 down for the Marshall Mavericks. Good job there, good bounce back inning by Hayden Hurst. And for Marshall, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We played an inning and a half now from Wildcat Park. Marshall 2 and the Wildcats 0. Well, while the Wildcats are entertaining Marshall over here at Wildcat Park, just across the parking lot, the Lady Cats of Sulphur Springs are entertaining the Marshall Lady Mavericks in a softball game that started at 6 o'clock, so they're an hour ahead of us. But we may pick up some scores on that later on. Keep checking in case we get any reports from Ross Lubinsky, who's calling that game tonight. And leading off for the Wildcats now will be Ty Stroud, the cleanup hitter for the Wildcats. And Enriquez ready to work his 2nd inning. And the first pitch to Ty Stroud, high and outside for ball 1. And I say that Enriquez ready to work. The Wildcats did not make him work too hard in that first inning. He only threw 6 pitches, for heaven's sakes. Here's a 1-0 pitch, and that is a called strike to Ty Stroud, the left-handed hitter for the Wildcats and the right fielder. And the next pitch on the way, that was in tight on Stroud. He backed away from it, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike to Ty Stroud. And the windup, the 2-1 pitch is swung on and popped on the infield. Enriquez takes charge on the pitcher's mound and makes the catch. Hardly ever see that in Major League Baseball. Usually they will defer to the fielders. But a lot of these pitchers that play other positions, they feel very comfortable moving around that mound and making a catch. So that's out number 1 for the Wildcats. They've had 4 up and 4 down. And here's Hayden Hurst with 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Enriquez's pitch on the way, that's high and outside for ball 1 to Hayden Hurst. He's in that 5th spot for a reason. Good hitter for the Wildcats. That pitch just missed outside, maybe a little high. 2-0 the count to Hurst. Wildcats try to get their first base runner here. Blake Weiss, the designated hitter, is on deck. He had a nice hit we saw in Texas High, Texarkana. 2-0 pitch, swung on, hit foul down third base way, and 2 balls and 1 strike now to Hayden Hurst. Again, nobody out, or 1 out, nobody on, I should say. Shane McQueen coaching down at first, and Coach Jared Hammock down at third base, the dean of the Wildcats coaches. Here's a 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count goes 2-2 to Hayden Hurst. Yeah, Coach Owens is listening. Coach Hammock's got 1 semester on you, Coach. He was there for the start of the school year, and Greg showed up in about December, January, somewhere in there. Here's a 2-2 pitch, swung on and hit back up the middle. It went off the mound, fielded by the shortstop. Throw to first is in time. Boy, that mound changed the direction of that ball slightly. The shortstop might have been able to get to it all the time, but when it hit that mound, it went more in his direction. Fielded cleanly out there by Garrett Cotton. He threw over to Hayden Callahan, and that's out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down, and here's Blake Weiss. Weiss hit the ball to right center field the other night, and they were unable to catch it out there. He got a double on the play, takes a call strike on the first pitch from Enriquez, who's really cruising along here with 16 pitches with 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And the next pitch on the way is swung on, hit straight away center field. Center fielder backing up, has it tracked and makes the catch. Caught out there by Henry Roth. So well struck ball, but the center fielder catches it in his tracks. And the Wildcats again go up and down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We've played 2 complete here at Wildcat Park. Marshall 2 and the Wildcats 0. And we move along now to the top of the 3rd inning. We do have a score now from Lady Cat Park. And the Lady Cats getting it done in the early going. Lady Cats 3 and Marshall 0, and they're playing in the 3rd inning over there at Lady Cat Park. I don't know if Crimson Bryant is going again tonight, but she's been lethal in district play. She has given up very, very little. She toys with a no-hitter just about every time she trots out to the mound, or to the circle. Excuse me, it's the circle in softball. Hayden Hurst from the mound in his first pitch, swing and a miss to the leadoff hitter from Marshall. This is Hayden Callahan. Callahan walked and scored in the first, so he has no official at-bat. 0-1 count now to Callahan. And Hurst pitch on the way, breaking ball hit slowly down the first to the first baseman. He fields, throws over to Colt Silman in time as Callahan was moving rapidly down the line, but well played by the Wildcats. Aiken Owens came down and fielded the ball and shoveled it over underhand to Colt Silman covering first. And nice play by the Wildcats to get the first out here in the top of the 3rd inning. That'll bring up Jim Weaver. He sacrificed bunt, so he has no official at-bat. And Hurst pitch, buzzed him inside and hit the batter. Must have just glanced him. It didn't look like it hit him well, maybe just hit the blousy uniform. I don't know, he's kind of looking to see if he had a bruise there on the arm. He may have got tattooed just a little bit, but Weaver goes down to first, so he's sacrificed and been hit by a pitch. So runner at first with 1 out, and here's Garrett Cotton. He had a big single back in the 1st inning and stole a base and came around to score for Marshall. 1 out with a runner at first, short lead. And Hurst pitches to the plate, swung on, foul back into the screen by Cotton for strike 1. With Weaver running down at first base for the Marshall Mavs. Red-clad Marshall with gray pants for the visiting team. And the 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. The runner took off for second base. The throw is not in time. Down to second, so a stolen base for Weaver. The pitch was a strike 2, and now Weaver appears to be shaken up as he went into second base. And I think the member of the training staff and the coaching staff, several coaches, umpires, everybody out to check that young man as he stole second, but something happened at second base. He's up and walking it off now. Not sure exactly. He's looking at taking his helmet off. So they are attending to Jim Weaver as he stole that base. He went in head first, and there's a lot of reasons not to do that, and that may be one of them right there. You kind of are vulnerable when you slide in first base like that. Some cleats, knees, I mean, there's all kinds of things that can happen. That's a stylish slide. That slide head first into the bag, but I think if you talk to the purists, they're going to tell you to slide feet first in there. The runner is up, and he is on the base. He's recovered down there at second. Continues to have those hands on that helmet, so may have jammed his neck or something a little bit as he went into second base there. But Weaver remains at second. The count is 0-2 with 1 out now, and to Garrett Cotton, the left-handed hitting Marshall Maverick. Hurst from the stretch. And the 0-2 pitch poured outside, missed outside for ball 1. Went off Armstrong's glove, but didn't get very far away. And Weaver stays put at second. So Hurst getting the signal now from his catcher, Armstrong, who relayed to him by Jared Hammock. Here's a ball grounded to second base. Colt Silman fields, throws to first in time. Weaver moves down to third base, and there are 2 outs.
Next up for Marshall, number 4, Garrett Cotton.
You know, I have messed things up here. I'm going to have to change everything. That's right, because I think we had a runner. Here's a ball hit back to the mound and thrown to first base. And it is in time to get the runner at first base. And so far, the Marshall Mavericks, they come up with no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 runner left on base after the hit batsman. So we played 2.5 innings, and our score, Marshall 2 and the Wildcats 0. Yeah, I kind of got my Marshall batting order out of order. When that runner was picked off of base, that batter had to come back up and hit again. That was at home plate, and I just somehow discounted him, and I shouldn't have done that. And so that's gotten everything out of order here. But I am correcting my book as we get ready for the Wildcats' bottom of the 3rd inning.
All right, leading off the bottom of the 3rd, number 24, Aiken Owens. You better move. You better move. You better
move. Okay, continue to get that squared away. And here's Aiken Owens to lead off the bottom of the 3rd inning. And the next pitch on the way from Enriquez is a call strike. 0-2 the count now. To the Wildcats' first hitter here in the inning, Aiken Owens. 0-2 pitch, that buzzed him inside, and that nipped his uniform. And Owens races down to first base. That's it. That looked like Colson Hale out there. He's a little bit bigger fellow than, larger fellow than Colson Hale, but he ran out that walk just like Colson would have done and Pete Rose would have done. Oh, Charlie Hustle. I think we've had another hit batter. That was on like a 1-2 pitch. And here's Colt Silman. Foul at home plate for strike 1. Is probably going to be called on to sacrifice. With Aiken Owens running down at first. Colby Albritton is on deck for the Wildcats, the bottom 3. The first 3 scheduled hitters here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Enriquez from the stretch. And he delivers bunted foul. And 0-2 the count to Colt Silman. Let's see if Coach Jared Hammock is going to stick with the bunt here, whether he lets Colt swing away. And hope that he doesn't result in hitting that ball into the double play. Let's see if the bunt is still on. Here's a throw to first. Owens dives back in. Belly flops over into first base. as Owens led off the inning, hit by a pitch. And Enriquez, who holds that ball in the bare hand, now he's got it in the glove. And the 0-2 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. And that's out number 1. That's the second strikeout for Enriquez.
Next to the plate for Sulphur Springs, number 1, Colby Albritton.
Colby Albritton, the shortstop for the Wildcats, hitting with a runner at first and 1 out. Marshall defense is back at every base. Well, the first baseman, Hayden Callahan, is holding Owens on. Owens a short lead off first. There's another throw over there. Owens easily back in that time. But again, his lead is not very large, so easy to get back in there. And Enriquez just letting him know he remembers he's over there. And the first pitch is swung on. There's a base hit out into right field. And Owens will turn around second, and he will put on the brakes, even though the right fielder, boy, had he known the right fielder was going to have a devil of a time picking it up out there, he could have just kept on rambling. But he was held at second base, apparently, I think, by Coach Hammock. And Albritton with a nice single, and runners at first and second now with 1 out. Here's the top of the order, Mayor Millsap. He grounded to second his first time up, so he's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Oh, Mayor Millsap steps in. And Enriquez, the pitch on the way, swung on, grounded to the first baseman. He's going to go to second, a low throw, and the runner is going to be out at second base. They did get the runner a nice catch there by the shortstop for Garrett Cotton. And so Millsap will be on the fielder's choice. They got Albritton out at second as the first baseman threw to second base for the second out in the inning. And Owens trotted over to third. Runners at the corners now with 2 outs. And here's Matthew Singleton. He hit a line drive to shortstop his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Pitch on the way. Enriquez took something off that, and it floated in the strike zone for strike 1. So Enriquez with runners at the corners, the tying runs on base for the Wildcats with Matthew Singleton up there. And again, the Marshall infield way back, of course, with 2 outs. Here's the pitch, swung on and hit back up the middle. Base hit into center field. 1 run will score. And racing Albritton all the way to third. He beats the throw there, and on the throw to third base, very alertly, Matthew Singleton moves into second. So a solid base hit by Matthew Singleton, driving home Aiken Owens.
Number 12, Caden Wallace.
And good base running as Albritton, Millsap moved all the way to third. And then Singleton, seeing the throw to third base, moved up to second. So 2 more runners in scoring position with hard-hitting Caden Wallace up there. He struck out in the first, so he's really due here, 0 for 1. And Enriquez with a pitch on the way, swung on, foul down the third base way, and the guy with those golden hands down there in third base coaching box, Jared Hammock, feels that thing with a meat hand. And strike 1 to Caden Wallace with runners at third and second and 2 outs. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. And it's base hit to right field for Wallace. 1 run will score. Here comes a second run in to score, and they'll cut the ball off. 2 RBI single for Caden Wallace. As the Wildcats are bringing up the hitting sticks here in the inning.
Stroud.
As they kind of set the table with a hit batter and a player on the fielder's choice. And then 2 big base knocks. Singleton drives in 1 and Wallace drives in 2. And here's Ty Stroud with Wallace running at first, and he's got good wheels. Here's a pitch on the way, called strike from Enriquez. So the Wildcats get their first couple of hits in the ball game. Well, I take that back, 3 hits in the inning. Albritton had a single. So a hit batter and 3 hits. Here's a pitch swung on and hit back into the screen. Wallace was taking off. Count 0-2 now to Ty Stroud, as the Wildcats have taken a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the third inning. And Wallace, fairly decent lead off first. And Enriquez, the 0-2 pitch. Oh, a call, strike three. Boy, he took something off, and the curve must have fooled Stroud up there. And that is out number 3, but the Wildcats have a big inning as they score 3 runs on 3 hits. It was 1 hit batter. There were no errors by Marshall, and 1 runner left on base. So we played 3 complete innings from Wildcat Park. It's the Wildcats 3 and Marshall 2. It's the top of the 4th inning now. The Wildcats have taken the lead 3-2 with that 3 spot in the bottom of the 3rd. Marshall will have their cleanup hitter. They'll have 4, 5, and 6. Jacob Oden, Braden Robbins, and Dallin Shaw. Hitters 4, 5, and 6 for Marshall here in the top of the 4th.
16, Jacob Oden.
Oden popped out to catcher Jake Armstrong in foul territory first time up. Pitch to Oden, swing and a miss as Hayden Hurst now has the lead. As he pitches here in the top of the 4th inning. Pitch count's very nice, by the way. The next pitch, I think he went too far. I thought the umpire had asked for an appeal, but I think he was signaling went too far. So it's strike 2, the count on Jacob Oden. Thought he was asking for help, but he had it all the way. And once again, Hurst. The 0-2 pitch, swung on, foul back in the screen. The count remains 0-2 to the cleanup hitter for the Marshall Mavericks, Jacob Oden. Hits from the right side in a slight crouch. Umpire called timeout as the on-deck hitter was retrieving a baseball. Swing and a miss. The ball got away from Armstrong. Racing to first is Oden. The throw to first in time. Nicely done by Jake Armstrong to chase after he really hustled after that ball and made a sharp throw to first to Aiken Owens for the out. So the strikeout is completed on a nice play there by Jake Armstrong. Armstrong does some pitching, so he's got that strong arm. 1 out here in the top of the 4th, and here's Braden Robbins. He singled, a 2 RBI single, had the big hit from Marshall back in the 1st to score their 2 runs. That pitch is down too low, ball 1 to Robbins. One out, nobody on here in the top of the 4th, and again the Wildcats leading 3-2. Hayden Hurst ready to work. The 1-0 pitch is swung on and hit foul back out of play. Boy, there's a tiny fan in the ballpark tonight. Young man right down by the brick wall there. He's checking it out. Just enjoying the ballpark here. Got him his Nike swish shirt on. Pitch by Hayden Hurst misses. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike to, the count is 2-1 to Robbins. And Hurst ready to go. And the 2-1 pitch, that hit the batter. It was not thrown real hard, so that batter didn't go to any great lengths to get out of the way of that. That's the 2nd hit batter of the night for Hayden Hurst. So runner at first with 1 out. That'll bring up Dallin Shaw. He grounded out to second baseman Colt Silman for the Wildcats back in the 2nd inning. And first pitch to Shaw is in there for a call strike, with Robbins running down at first for Marshall. Robbins a very short lead over there, being held on by Aiken Owens. And here's Hurst's pitch, bunted at, missed for a call strike. And 0-2 the count now on Shaw. Again, 1 out. The runner at first, and 0-2 the count now to Shaw for the Marshall Mavs. And Hurst from the stretch. Here's the next pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Armstrong throws to first. He's already picked off one. He didn't get his man this time, as runner got back in there. But another strikeout for Hayden Hurst. He's got 2 in the inning. And that'll bring up Dylan Thurman. He struck out back in the second. So Thurman 0 for 1. The first pitch to Sherman swung on, hit foul down the third base way. Just dribbled over there between close to the Marshall dugout for strike 1. 2 outs with a runner at first. Marshall trailing 3-2. We're in the top of the 4th inning with the Mavericks hitting here. Wildcat Park. Beautiful Wildcat Park. And Hurst ready to work, and the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Armstrong again takes a shot down at Robbins at first, and he dives back in there. Armstrong getting his money's worth there. 0-2 the count. Meanwhile, Hayden Hurst just continues to pour strikes in there, and Marshall can't make contact. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one swung on and fouled back into the screen. And 0-2 the count. And Shane McQueen motoring to get that ball. And he had a race with a fellow from Marshall. And Shane got there first. Although he hardly resembles that speedy wide receiver that I remember from so many years ago. Here's a stretch, and the 0-2 pitch, a runner takes off at second, and he will steal the base without a throw. So a steal there by Robbins. The pitch was a ball too high over the batter's head, caught by the catcher, but the batter had to duck under it. And here's the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Hayden Hurst strikes out the side. He hit a batter in the middle of all that somewhere. And so far, Marshall, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base, and no Hurst hits allowed since the first inning. So we have played 3.5 here at Wildcat Park. It's the Wildcats 3 and Marshall 2. Doug Haston just made a very nice point, though, as we were not able to stream tonight, but Doug made the point that people that want to pick this game off of YouTube can pick it up at their leisure and watch it, because it will be there once Doug gets it edited, whenever he has time to do that.
All right, leading off the bottom of the 4th, number 9.
So that's what we're doing here, trying to make lemonade from the lemons that we're given here with a bad landline, apparently. But it will be fixed. And leading off for the Wildcats now, Hayden Hurst. The first pitch is in there for a call strike. And Hurst grounded to short his first time up, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Hits from the right side against pitcher Enriquez in his 4th inning of work. And the pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Oh, that's a strike 3. Oh, no, it was hit. And the catcher dashed out in front of the plate. I thought that ball had gotten away from the catcher, but it was dribbled out in front of the plate. And the catcher pounced on it. That was Oden. And he threw to Callahan at first for the out on Hayden Hurst, who took off, realized he'd hit the ball in fair territory. So that's out number 1, and that'll bring up Blake Weiss. He hit a nice fly ball to center field, but the center fielder caught it in his tracks. It was pretty well tattooed, but hit right at the center fielder, and Weiss takes a call strike, as Enriquez has started the inning by throwing nothing but strikes here. Here's the 0-1 pitch, big breaker, and that hit to Weiss. Just barely. Again, we have not had anybody really, and I'm not advocating for that. I do not like to see players hit by baseballs thrown real hard, but those have been kind of lollipops up there, and that lollipop hit Weiss. It's me calling it the lollipop. It's not hitting me, but I don't know if Weiss would have a different story, but he's down at first after being hit by the pitch. So Weiss at first with 1 out, and here's Aiken Owens, who was hit by a pitch and scored the Wildcats' first run last inning in the bottom of the 3rd. So 1 out with a runner at first. The pitch, Owens checks his swing. It's up too high, ball 1. So So Blake Weiss running down at first base. And 1-0 the count to Aiken Owens. And the pitch on the way is swung on, hit foul. I think that cleared the screen and went back over the top of us here. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Aiken Owens steps in there, and again Weiss takes a short lead off first. He's being held on over there. And the 1-1 pitch, that's inside, 2-1 to Aiken Owens. The Wildcats leading 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Wildcats try to get another rally going here against Enriquez. Next pitch on the way, swung on, hit foul down third base way. And the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Aiken Owens, the signee of the East Texas Baptist College, or University, excuse me, there in Marshall. And Enriquez, a 2-2 pitch, called strike 3. Boy, he's been very effective throwing that curve, a 2-strike curve, and the Wildcats have not offered at it, and he's nailed it. So that's, and how many strikeouts does he have, you might wonder? 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 strikeouts for Enriquez. So 2 outs with a runner at first, and here's Colt Silman. He struck out his first time up. Hits a slow roller to shortstop. Third baseman cuts it off. Throw to first, out at first base. Close play as Colt Silman was galloping down to first base, but third baseman cut in front of the shortstop and made a hard throw. And the Wildcats get a hit batter, but nothing more. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We played 4 complete now from Wildcat Park. It's the Wildcats 3 and Marshall 2. And another across the parking lot score from Lady Cat Park as they continue to roll over there. David Carrillo's bunch. It's the Lady Cats 5 and Marshall 0, and they're playing in the 5th inning over there. So they're just barely ahead of us. We're getting ready to move into the top of the 5th ourselves here. So Marshall will have 8, 9, and 1 in their order hitting here in the top of the 5th inning. They'll start with Brent Burris, and he grounded out on the infield his first time up. There's a call strike by Hayden Hurst. And Hurst is at 54 pitches through 4 innings. Again, that's not bad at all. And the 0-1 pitch is swung on, hit foul off to the right side. I see one of the fans dashing out of the gate to go chase that foul ball down. 0-2 the count now to Burris, who's the designated hitter. And the 0-2 pitch, that's swung on, hit foul. Back out of play, off to our right. So the count remains 0-2 to Brent Burris. Leading off, he'll be followed by Henry Roth. And then the top of the order, that'll be Hayden Callahan. And the 0-2 pitch, breaking ball, swing and a miss. Nicely done by Hurst. And we tallied up Enriquez's strikeouts. Let's see for Hurst. There's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Remember, he struck out the side in the 4th, so he's got 5 strikeouts. That's out number 1, and here's Henry Roth. And he was out on the infield the first time up. Swing and a miss for strike 1. He hit that slow roller down to Aiken Owens, who shuffled it over, underhanded over to Colt Silman in time for the out on this 9-hole hitter. 0-1 pitch. That just missed inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. That was a close pitch right there by Hayden Hurst, who has many of the good pitchers. He had a rocky first inning, and then he's been money in the bank. Swing and a miss. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Has not yielded a hit since that first inning. So he's mowing them down. And that pitch misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the 9-hole hitter, Roth. First name Henry Roth. And Hurst from the stretch. And the 2-2 pitch. That just off the plate, and the count goes full to the 9-hole hitter, And one of baseball's commandments, thou shalt not walk the 9-hole hitter. It's written in stone somewhere. There's a 3-2 pitch, and that missed, as Roth is a small strike zone, and that was just a tad too high. Well, base on balls, and I don't remember. Now, we've had some, well, the first batter of the game walked. I think that's been it, just the 2 walks for Hayden Hurst, who's also hit a couple of batters. So runner at first with 1 out. And here's Callahan, who walked and scored and was hit by a pitch. So he has no official at-bats. And there, the ball getting away from Armstrong. He gets it, but Roth will race down to second base on the wild pitch. As Armstrong was trying to corral that ball, and it just got away from him a few feet. But Roth was taking off once he saw the ball bounce. So runner at second with 1 out. That's the tying run in the game, by the way. And here's the 1-0 pitch. Oh, he tried to check a swing, went too far, did Callahan. And the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, 1 out with that runner at second. And this 2-hole hitter from Marshall. Here's a 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Boy, Hurst was way ahead of the batter on that one, and he's ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He really cut loose on that one. He stares in for the sign. Let's see what Coach Hammock wants this time. Here's a 1-2 pitch, and there's a throw through to second base. Not in time, and the pitch missed at home plate, so the count, that was a close pitch at home. I was waiting for that one. But, and also it looked like that the batter may have tried to again check the swing. The count even now at 2-2. Hurst looks back, glances at second. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Swung on, base hit up the middle. Here comes the center fielder fielding it. Roth will hold at third base, and a nice cut there by Aiken Owens right at the mound, or just to the right of the mound. And the runner stops at third base. So Roth stops at third on a solid single by Callahan, his first hit of the night. So runners at the corners with 1 out. And that'll bring up Weaver. Weaver sacrificed and then grounded to second, so he is 0 for 1. And he was not the player that I was concerned about his health. That was actually Callahan. So I had my order out of, kind of had things out of order. There's a bunt on the first play. It came all the way over the screen and landed in the stands, just in front of some fans who are just now encouraging themselves to breathe again. They just had a close encounter of the baseball kind, as that was strike 1 on that ball that was fouled over the screen. It made just the right arc to get over that screen and land in the stands. Of course, Carmen Hammock, the veteran baseball observer, never did flinch. Here's the 0-1 pitch. There's a call strike, and they'll let that runner steal second. So runners at third and second for Marshall. There's 1 out in the inning, and the count is 0-2 to Jim Weaver. That pitch missed down too low, 1-2. Got away from Armstrong, but just barely. And nobody going anywhere on that. The umpire had to kind of clear out of there because it was kind of around his feet too. But nobody trying to score on that. So 1-2 now. Hurst needs a pitcher's helper here. Here's a ball hit slowly towards second base. It's fielded by Silman. The throw to first. Oh, it gets through the first baseman, and 2 runs are going to score. Marshall is going to score on that error on the Wildcats. Is a low throw to first, and it could not be scooped out. And 2 Marshall runs score. They would have gotten 1 anyway on that ground ball with the infield not playing in. And so the runner moved all the way down to second base, and Marshall has moved into a 4-3 lead here. And runner at second base, still just 1 out. And that'll bring up Cotton, Garrett Cotton, in there for a call strike. First pitch from Hurst. So Marshall with a walk and a single and an error have scored 2 runs. And Hurst, 0-1 pitch. That missed outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Garrett Cotton. He's a 3-hole hitter. He singled, stole a base, and scored a run in the first, made an out in the third. So he is 1 for 2. Trying to pad the Marshall lead. Here's a 1-1 pitch that swung on foul. Back into the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This right-handed hitter now, Garrett Cotton. Not spelled like a cotton bowl. He's C-O-T-T-E-N for Marshall. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swung on and grounded slowly to third. Fielded by Caden Wallace. He fires to first in time on a close play. And I think they're holding that runner at first base. I thought that umpire signaled that there was an out at first, but I think he was saying, and now the Marshall manager is going to come out and talk to the umpire. I think he asked him to check with a home plate umpire on this call at first. That runner's not left the bag because they think that he got there first. I believe he was called out. And there's the fist, the out call from the field umpire, and that'll remove that runner from the base. On the play, moving over to third for Marshall is Weaver. And on a very close play from third to first from Caden Wallace over to Aiken Owens, just in time for out number 2. So Marshall leading 4-3. They have another runner at third, and there are 2 outs. And here's Jacob Oden as he is 0 for 2. First pitch misses too high for ball 1. Oden popped up in foul territory to the catcher and then struck out, so he is 0 for 2. He's a number 4 hitter for Marshall in that cleanup spot. And the 1-0 pitch, that's too high. 2-0 the count to Jacob Oden. Wonder if he's a Norwegian royalty like Odin, the god with a little G. Here's a 2-0 pitch. There's a call strike. Not spelled the same, though, I will say that. 2-1 the count now to Jacob Oden. Again with Weaver running down at third base. 2 outs. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch by Hurst. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes as Hayden Hurst tries to get out of this inning without any further damage. And the next pitch on the way. There's a swing and a miss. But Marshall gets some damage done as they score a couple of runs. And they had, boy, it's hard to read in the dark here, but I thought they had a hit in there somewhere. Yes, I see 1. So 2 runs on 1 hit. There was 1 big Wildcat error and 1 Marshall runner left on base. So we've now played 4.5 innings here from Wildcat Park, and Marshall has retaken the lead. It's Marshall 4 and the Wildcats 3.
All right, leading off the bottom of the 5th inning.
It's the bottom of the 5th now, and for the Wildcats, they will have the 9-hole hitter followed by the top of the order. So it'll be Colby Albritton and then Mayor Millsap and Matthew Singleton scheduled about here against tough little right-handed pitcher. And that would be Dante Enriquez now pitching his 5th inning. And here's Albritton. He singled back in the 3rd inning. So 1 for 1 in the ball game up there with the open stance. Third baseman in a little bit. Here's a ball hit out to right field. Base hit for Albritton. So he's 2 for 2 in the ball game with a pair of singles. Reminds me of Wee Willie Keeler, the way he hit that ball. They used to ask Willie what was the key to his high batting average. And English teachers are going to cringe everywhere when I tell you, he said, hit them where they ain't. So Wee Willie had it all figured out way back. I was probably in the 1890s or something when he was playing. Runner at first, nobody out, and here's Mayor Millsap, first pitch outside for ball 1 as the Wildcats try to come back from a 4-3 deficit. Marshall with 5 hits and the Wildcats with 4. According to the scoreboard, I haven't added them up in my book. And 1-0, here's a throw to first, and Albritton is back in there for the Wildcats. And Millsap, the top of the order, see if he might be looking to bunt or might be bunting to hit. The third baseman is back even with the bag. He's back a little bit. There's another throw to first. Enriquez tossing over there. And Callahan putting the tag on Albritton running over there at first with a fair lead off the bat, but he's kind of leaning back toward the base. And the pitch to Millsap, and that misses. The count goes to 2-0. Both of those pitches pretty close, but umpire deeming them out of the strike zone. So Millsap with a 2-0 count. Here's a 2-0 pitch, and that's a call strike on the inside part of the plate. 2-1 the count. Again, the Lady Cats leading Marshall 5-0 at Lady Cat Park. Last report in the 5th inning. And here's Enriquez with a 2-1 pitch. That's swung on and hit foul back out of play. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Wildcats' leadoff hitter. And Millsap grounded to second. He was on a fielder's choice, so he is 0 for 2. And the catcher will trot out to the mound. Actually, Enriquez will meet him almost halfway. He got off of the mound to come down and talk to his catcher, who is Odin. Again, the Wildcats have opened the 5th with a base hit. Runner at first, nobody out. The count 2-2 now. I'll tell you what I might look for if I was Mayor Millsap is look out for that little slow curveball that Enriquez takes something off of, because he has thrown that with regularity with 2 strikes and gotten the 3rd strike. Here's a throw to first. Albritton dives back in there. So Albritton's got that pitcher measured real well, but again, he's not getting a real big lead over there. But as long as you can get back in, the manager will stand for that. And he took off. Here's a 2-2 pitch hit back to Enriquez, and he'll run toward first and funnels it to the first baseman. So it worked like a sacrifice, as actually Albritton had taken off, but Enriquez went ahead and completed the pitch. Albritton moved to second, and Millsap hit a ball back to the pitcher for out number 1. So the Wildcats have the tying run at second with 1 out, and that'll bring up Matthew Singleton. And Singleton is 1 for 2. Hit a line drive to the shortstop and then singled. And timeout was asked for and granted. Enriquez went ahead with a pitch, but the umpire had already kind of moved himself out of position. Didn't even want to take a look at it. He had already called timeout. So now the first pitch to Matthew Singleton. It's on the way, and that's outside for ball 1. So Matthew Singleton, again, 1 for 2 tonight. Hit the ball hard both times. That liner to shortstop, I thought that was heading out to left field, but shortstop made a good catch out there on a hot shot. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That's up too high, and the count goes to 2-0. A lot of casual fans, sometime they'll see their kid get on 3 or 4 times and figure they got should have gotten credit for 3 or 4 hits. A lot of those are fielder's choice and stuff. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Buzzed him inside. 3-0 the count now to Matthew Singleton. I've had him call me before and just swear up and down, my kid was on base 4 times. Yeah, well, there's an error in there in the fielder's choice. So that's why we only reported that they had 2 hits. And the 3-0 pitch, and that's a call strike on the outside part of the plate, and the count goes 3-1 to Matthew Singleton, Wildcats left fielder. So 1 out, a runner at second, and 3-1 to Singleton. trying to tie this up with a hit. That missed, and ball 4, and the Wildcats have a couple of runners on now. Runners at second and first with just one out. And here's Caden Wallace. Boy, he got a huge hit last time, a big single that drove in 2 runs. He also struck out, so he's 1 out of 2 with his 2 RBIs. And now a big confab going on at the pitcher's mound as Marshall coach out there discussing things with Enriquez, probably trying to ask him what he feels like he has left. Looks like his pitch count's only at like 53 here in the 5th inning. That is an excellent pitch count. Or he may just be wanting to talk to him about how to pitch Caden Wallace. As Caden Wallace is having a conversation with Jared Hammock, who I sure gave him good advice, like hit it out there somewhere and hit it hard and hit it where they ain't. I don't know. Coach Coach Hammock would never say that, I don't think. He might say hit it where they are not. And here's Caden Wallace now as he bats with 1 out and runners at second and first against Dante Enriquez. And he winds, and the pitch on the way bounces in. It got away, but not very far. Albritton took 1 step toward third and then slammed on the brakes as he could tell that Oden had tracked that ball pretty well and was really going to pounce on it. And he would have been a dead duck trying to go to third base. Big lead off first for the Wildcats by Singleton. And here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Oh, my. Jaden Wallace, they used to talk about players that would unbutton a button on that on those old baseball jerseys so they could really take a rip, and he took a rip on that one. 1 ball and 1 strike to Caden Wallace. Enriquez from the stretch looks back at second base. Still looks. Now the 1-1 pitch swung on, grounded to the shortstop, fielded. There's a throw to second, out there, throw to first, not in time. Oh, they called him out at first. Boy, Shane McQueen threw the arms out to the side to say he was safe, and Coach Hammock bounced onto the field in indignation that Wallace did not beat that throw, as he is grinding the teeth as he heads across the diamond. So a close call on the double play goes against the Wildcats, and no runs. The Wildcats had 1 hit, no Marshall errors, and just 1 Wildcat left on base. So a rally for the Wildcats kind of blows up on them. And we have played, looks like 5 innings now here, and it's Marshall 4 and the Wildcats 3. Top of the 6th inning, as Hayden Hurst has a pitch count of 81, so we'll keep an eye on that. He's got 29 pitches he can expend. The first pitch to the first Marshall hitter here is Braden Robbins, is a call strike. And Robbins singled and then was hit by a pitch. And his single drove in 2 runs for Marshall back there in the first inning. Swing and a miss, and he's down in the count 0-2. Hurst, it would help his cause to try to finish this ball game if he could have a quick inning here. He doesn't expend too many pitches. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and that helps. A 3-pitch strikeout of Robbins for out number 1. As Hayden Hurst picks up another strikeout. So 1 up and 1 down, and here's Dallin Shaw. He grounded out and struck out, so he's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Second batter here in the 6th inning. And Hurst from the stretch, and the pitch on the way, and that is a call strike, as he has got that umpire's right arm jumping out of there after every pitch. And a 1-strike pitch now for Hayden Hurst. Here's the 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Boy, only throws strikeouts Hurst here in the top of the 6th. Only throws strikes. And the 0-2 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Wow. 2 3-pitch strikeouts for Hayden Hurst. 2 up and 2 down. Impressive pitching here. And I wonder how he'll do against this guy. I'll tell you, statistically, it does not look good for Dylan Thurman. I think we may have a pinch hitter here.
Batting seventh now for Marshall, number 22.
Let's see, the pinch hitter, if I can read here in the dark. This looks like, oh my, this is impossible to read. This guy has a long name. Let me see. It's Javarius Mitchell with one L. Javarius Mitchell now hitting. And the reason he's hitting is Dylan Thomas was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And the pitch to Mitchell is going to miss. That's the only first ball of the inning for Hayden Hurst against Mitchell. Javarius Mitchell, right-handed hitter. Pinch hitting here for Thurman. And that pitch missed, 0-2 the count. So after 2 strong batters, Hurst starting out with a couple of balls to the pinch hitter here. And that pitch in there for a call strike. 2-1 the count to Mitchell. Again, 2 out, nobody on. We're in the top of the 6th inning, and Marshall leading the Wildcats 4-3. And the pitch on the way, swung on, foul down the first base way. Good fielding. Marshall, first base coach, gobbled that one up and gave it to Aiken Owens. He'll throw it into the Wildcats dugout, and Hurst will get a new baseball. Count at 2 balls and 2 strikes now. 2 outs and nobody on for Marshall in the top of the 6th inning. Lady Cats win tonight by the score of 8-0. So another strong pitching performance. The Lady Cats off to a great start this year. Now, 4-1 in district play, and they've won 4 straight games after losing opening district with a loss at Hallsville. 2-2 pitch, call, strike 3. So Hayden Hurst strikes out the side, and his pitch count's only at 92. He's got 18 more pitches that he can throw if he heads into that 7th inning. So 3 up and 3 down from Marshall via the strikeout route. And no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We've played 5.5 here from Wildcat Park. It's Marshall 4 and the Wildcats 3. The bottom of the 6th inning for the Wildcats as they trail 4-3. And let's see who they will have coming up here. They will have Ty Stroud, Hayden Hurst, and Blake Weiss, the scheduled hitters, here in the bottom of the 6th. I show the Wildcats have out-hit Marshall 4-3 in this ball game. Hits have been kind of at a premium. Been a lot of key hits, and here's Ty Stroud. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. He's due for 1. And that pitch poured right in there for a call strike by Dante Enriquez. Stroud popped up and struck out. Hit a popper back to the pitching mound. And the 0-1 pitch, that was inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ty. And Stroud steps back in there, the left-handed hitter. Slightly open stance for the lefty. And the 0-1 pitch on the way, and that missed. Low and outside. I think Enriquez thought that might be a good pitch. 2-1 is the count now on Ty Stroud, who leads off. He's a key hitter here. This pitch way outside, and the count goes 3-1 as Stroud is on the verge of, as we were always taught in Little League, walk is as good as a hit. 3-1, the count to Ty Stroud. And the 3-1 pitch, and that's going to miss inside. Boy, that was a close pitch. And Ty Stroud opens the 6th inning. I put a star by that one. Marshall has scored 2 runs tonight when their leadoff batter in the inning walked. And both of those chickens came home to roost. And that'll bring up Hayden Hurst trying to help his pitching cause here. And see if they have him bunting or they're going to let him swing away here. Enriquez with a pitch on the way. Oh, Hurst took a mighty cut. That was down low, and he couldn't come up with it for strike one. Hurst is 0 for 2, so he's certainly due. He's grounded out on the infield twice. They are back very deep for him in double play depth, actually. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That missed outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, I think Enriquez thought that might be a strike. Very short lead off first by Stroud. And the 1-1 pitch. That bounced in, got away from the catcher, bounced off the gear, went all the way back to the screen. Stroud, a big turn around second. But the catcher, Oden, caught up to that ball, and he ran it back near the pitcher's mound to keep Stroud at second. So Stroud goes to second on a really wild pitch that bounced and then hit that catcher's gear and shot back to the base of the screen off to the right of the catcher. And so Stroud at second. The tying run now in a 2-1 count to Hayden Hurst. Here's Enriquez, 2-1 pitch. That's outside, 3-1, and all of a sudden he's lost it. And he may be on the verge of pitching himself right out of this one here. If Marshall's got a reliever they might want to see, because he's on the verge of putting 2 runners on with nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's a 3-1 pitch, swung on and fisted to the shortstop. They throw to second, and it is in time for a double play. Oh, a tough double play on the Wildcats as Stroud was heading toward third and then tried to get back, but after the line drive was caught, the second double play of the inning for Marshall. So another big double play by Marshall. And 2 out, nobody on, and here's Blake Weiss. Boy, a big inning potential just disappeared with 1 pitch. There's a call strike to Blake Weiss. Boy, you look like you got the pitcher on the ropes, and he throws the pitcher's best friend the double play, and on a line drive, a well-hit hard ball, and the inning just blows up in smoke. And here's the 0-1 pitch to Weiss. Swung on and popped on the infield. It's a mile high. The shortstop calling for it, makes the catch out there. And that's going to do it. So what looked like a promising inning again does not occur. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. And we played 6 complete here at Wildcat Park. It's Marshall 4 and the Wildcats 3. Moving now into the 7th inning, and Marshall leading the Wildcats 4-3. And Hayden Hurst is out to pitch his 7th inning for the Wildcats. He's going to hopefully finish what he started, as he's had kind of 2 bad innings tonight. And of course, it looks like that the lead run in this game is going to be the result of a costly error on the Wildcats, as I think they would have scored 1 anyway, but the throwaway at first caused the second and leading runner to score, and that's a crusher in this ball game. And the Wildcats have had some very buzzard's luck in the last couple of innings. On a close call at first went against them, and then that double play on a real shot. Ball 1 that comes in now to Marshall's Brent Burris. Next pitch to Burris is, I thought that was a strike, but is not. It's 2-0 the count to Burris, a designated hitter. And here's a pitch on the way. That's in there for a call strike. Now you chunking in there. Quote famous broadcaster Lowell Pass of the Houston Astros back in the 60s and 70s. Here a 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Seems like I recall Eric Buck telling me one time he remembered Lowell Pass from his days of listening to Astros on the radio. 2-2 the count. And here's the pitch by Hurst. It's going to be swung on, hit foul off to the right, back out of play, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Burris, who is leading off here in the top of the 7th inning. Hurst, a 2-2 pitch. That swung on, hit, fouled, back out of play. And Brent Burris been the DH tonight. He grounded back to the pitcher and struck out, so he's 0 for 2 in the ball game as a designated hitter. And Hurst with a 2-2 pitch. Oh, called strike 3. Boy, he hit that outside part of the plate with a beautiful pitch. Just kind of froze that batter that time, out number 1. And Hurst just hit 99 pitches, so he's got 11 more in his pocket that he can use there, as he's got to get 2 more outs. Sometimes I think if you started in on a hitter, you might be able to finish up. I'm not real sure on all those rules. There's a call strike to Roth, the 9-hole hitter for Marshall. He grounded to the first baseman, who flipped over to the second baseman at first for the out, and then he walked and scored a run, as he scored the tying run in this ball game, as he would have scored anyway on that ground ball where they had 3rd and 2nd. Oh, 1 pitch. Oh, that buzzed right over the head of the batter. He got out of the way, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Roth. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the top of the 7th inning for Marshall. Their leadoff hitter is on deck. 1-1 pitch. That's up too high, 2-1. And I remember this feisty little batter, as he took it to 3-2 last time, and a pitch missed because he is short in stature. He's a tough little strike zone. Oh, he swings and misses, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's say maybe 5'8" or something, if I had to guess. I don't really have heights on these players. And a 2-2 pitch. Oh, burned in there by Hurst. So 2 up and 2 out via the strikeout route. Hurst is at 103 pitches. So he's got 7 in his arsenal left to go here with 2 outs, nobody on. And here is Hayden Callahan. He walked and scored, was hit by a pitch, and he singled, stole a base, and scored the lead run in this ball game on an error. He'll make it 4-3. Pitch from Hurst, burned in there for a call strike. Hurst trying to get out of there in a flame of glory here by a big pitching inning. Here's a breaking ball. Boy, that just missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Reminds me of some fans in Texas High the other night on a pitch like that. They would have been saying, "Nice pitch." Loud enough for the umpire to hear it. And the 1-1 pitch. That's too high. Boy, that was a close pitch. 2-1 the count. So Hurst has been around the strike zone. His pitch count now 106. He's getting close. Next pitch on the way. That's in there, and the count is 2-2. I think he may be able to finish up on Callahan, even if he exceeds the 110 pitch count. He's at 107 right now. And the count's 2-2. And the pitch on the way. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. 108, and he left 2 in the bank. And he strikes out the side. A strong way to finish the ball game for Hayden Hurst. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Well, we go to the exciting 7th, where the Wildcats are going to win this one, I think. But let's see if it turns out. We played 6.5 here from Wildcat Park. Marshall 4 and the Wildcats 3. So bottom of the 7th inning, the Wildcats will have the bottom 3 in the order to try to get it going here. But actually, one of those guys, Colby Albritton's 2 for 2 tonight, so don't go sneezing at the bottom of the order. And Aiken Owens was hit by a pitch. And so it'll be Aiken Owens, Colt Silman, and also Colby Albritton scheduled to hit for the Wildcats in the bottom of the 7th. And out there for his 7th inning is Dante Enriquez. And the Wildcats need to stir the pot here. First pitch to Aiken Owens is outside for ball 1. I know a lot of times in Little League ball, we used to send a batter up there with some take to make the pitcher throw a strike. We'll see if 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count's even, 1 ball and 1 strike. That looked like it was in the strike zone. Owens thought so. He was taking a big cut at it. Again, he's 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch, scored the Wildcat run, and struck out. Here's a big breaking ball, just missed inside, just didn't quite break enough. 2 balls and 1 strike to Aiken Owens. He becomes a real big batter here in the top of the 7th, try to get that lead runner on. And Enriquez with a 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes to Aiken Owens. With Colt Silman on deck. Enriquez ready to work. And now a timeout asked for by Owens, granted by the home plate umpire. Owens steps out and takes a big practice swing. He's back in the batter's box from the right side. And Enriquez with a 2-2 pitch. Swung on and hit foul. Hit pretty well, but well ahead of that one and way out of here in foul territory. And count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Aiken Owens with that Marshall defense playing deep with a capital D. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That bounced in. They're going to throw to first. Home plate umpire not signaling a strikeout. And so the count goes 3 balls and 2 strikes. Aiken Owens never budged. He never thought it was strike 3. I think Marshall was just hoping that they might get that call. They did not. And here's Enriquez with a big 3-2 pitch. It's on the way. Ball 4. And once again, tearing down to first base is Aiken Owens. A hustling ball player. So Aiken Owens opens the Wildcats inning, and we're going to have a pinch runner.
Pinch running is number 8, Dawson Carpenter.
And Dawson Carpenter comes in to run for Aiken Owens at first base. So Carpenter now running. And here is Colt Silman. And pitcher's mound visit for Marshall. Let's see if they might make a move if they've got a good closer. Or it may just be a conversation. Oh, they took the ball. The manager asked for the ball, so it deposited by Enriquez, who exchanges low 5 with the third baseman, who's now coming in to pitch for Marshall. So now pitching will be Jim Weaver. So Weaver will pick it up here as Enriquez goes 6 innings and faces 1 batter here in the 7th. So the runner down at first base is the property of Enriquez. He can win the ball game. He cannot lose it. He could exit in a no decision if the Wildcats can get the tying run. That would go on his ledger. But he cannot lose the ball game in any way, shape, or form. And so Jim Weaver now pitching for Marshall. Comes over from third base, and I think Enriquez just went over to a third. So a plain swap between the third baseman and the pitcher as Enriquez moves to third, and Jim Weaver now pitching for the Marshall Mavs. A runner down at first base, and again, that's Dylan Carpenter, the pinch runner for the Wildcats. So Colt Silman will be the first batter that Weaver will face, and oh boy, did he just cut loose a wild one. There used to be a Yankee reliever, and I think he wore Coke bottle thick glasses, like his vision wasn't very good. His name was Ryan Duran. And I think sometime he would put the ball up on the screen. That was where they caught all the foul balls back behind home plate, just to let them know, hey, I might be a little wild today. And you think you can dig in when somebody's doing that? Of course, that's the purpose of putting on a display like that. But we'll see what kind of control he has when the rubber hits the road here, and as he faces Colt Silman, the first batter he will face here. Again, Carpenter running at first for the Wildcats. He represents the tying run in the ball game. Colt Silman is the lead runner for the Wildcats. Against Jim Weaver, the first batter he will face. But Weaver from the stretch, and Carpenter leads off. Pitch to Silman, bunted foul. Strike one. So Coach Hammock playing small ball, trying to get down the sacrifice bunt. And that third baseman, Enriquez, has now tightened up, and he is now on the grass. He's on that infield grass. He is off that dirt, playing in. And once again, Weaver's next pitch, bunted at, it's a call strike. There's a throw to first, and Carpenter is back in there, but Silman is in an 0-2 hole here, trying to bunt his way on. So let's see if Coach Hammock takes off the bunt, or see what he decides to do with Colt Silman, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a grounder to third base. Carpenter a short lead off first. And Weaver's 0-2 pitch swung on a full swing that time, and Silman hit a foul back out of play. Had a pretty good rip at that one. As we used to say, straighten that thing out. Hit it out there, out that way, out in the field. And Weaver's 0-2 pitch, big breaking ball. That was outside by a considerable amount, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Colt Silman. And on deck is Colby Albritton, who has 2 hits tonight. And the next pitch is swung on, grounded slowly. It's to the shortstop, and he will boot the ball. I think Silman probably had a hit anyway, as that was a slow roller. The third baseman dived to try to get it, and it got past him. And then the chance of getting Colt Silman, almost an impossibility. So I'm going to give Colt a hit on that. And on the play, Dylan, I knew I would do that. That's Dawson Carpenter is down at second base. I remember Dylan too. But Dawson Carpenter down at second, Silman at first, and here's Colby Albritton. Again, 2 for 2, and he bats with runners at second, first, nobody out. Weaver now turns and looks at Carpenter, did not deliver a throw. Carpenter, there was not much space to throw for, and his shortstop had not come in from behind. So the first pitch now to Albritton. And Albritton bunting it, got away from the catcher, and 2 runners advance. The Wildcats now have the winning runs in scoring position after that wild pitch. Oh my, that was a huge wild pitch. So Carpenter, 90 feet away, the tying run. And down on second base is Colt Silman. So, and nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Do or die for the Wildcats. Albritton asked for timeout now. 1-0 the count after that wild pitch to Colby Albritton, who's had a fine ball game with 2 solid singles. He gets one now. This could be over. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Swung on, base hit. Left center field. The ball game is over. The ball game is over. 2-run score for the Wildcats, and they are going to storm Albritton, who had a 3-hit night, including a huge double RBI, solid single into left center field. And the Wildcats come back and win in the bottom of the 7th inning, scoring twice, and the Wildcats will win this one by the score of 5-4. Wow, what a way to finish this one, on a huge double RBI single. And I saw that ball go out into left center field, and I knew, first of all, the game was easily tied, and I knew Colt Silman would score easily too, as that ball was hitting the perfect spot. It was a tweener out to the outfield. In fact, it's interesting, that could be called a double. And what a ball game here as the Wildcats come rallying, and they scored 2 runs. Nobody got retired in the bottom of the 7th, as we had a walk to start the inning, as Aiken Owens took a walk on a 3-2 pitch, and that caused the pitching change. And then base hit on the infield by Colt Silman. A wild pitch moved him into a scoring position. And Colby Albritton busts the ball out into left center field. And the Wildcats win this one with 2 runs, 2 hits, no Marshall errors, and 1 runner left on base. The hero for their night's ball game, and what a great game by the 9-hole hitter, Colby Albritton, with 3 hits tonight. Be interesting to see if they score that as a double. I think he stopped at first. I was watching Silman around third and watching the Wildcats winning runs come into the plate. So what an exciting ball game here from Wildcat Park as the Wildcats beat Marshall, scoring 2 times in the bottom of the 7th inning. Boy, that is called dramatics. And you guys be a little more tender with me here, as that's pretty tough to take. I'll start breathing normally, I think, about midnight after this one, as the Wildcats win this one by the score of 5-4. Hayden Hurst, who had a real strong finish with pitching, will get the pitching win. And loser will be Jim Weaver, the relief pitcher, who came in and gave up a couple of hits for the Wildcats in the 5-4 loss. So the Wildcats will now go to 3-1 in district play, and they are 6-11 for the season. And next up for those guys, they will go to Pine Tree on Friday, as Lady Cats and Wildcats will be both going to Pine Tree on Friday to continue district play. And the Wildcats will be on cloud 9 after this big come-from-behind win over Marshall. Wow, what an exciting ball game here. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up, as once again, great ball game for Colby Albritton, the hero in this one. And he will always remember this ball game, I guarantee you. James Terry running spots back at the station as the sun has come up all of a sudden. We just got light in the press box. I appreciate it. I like it. I can barely see, it's so bright in here. But again, James Terry running spots back at the station. Doug Haston, the owner of lights here in the press box, and also did our engineering. And our camera work is well on our replay that will be on YouTube and also on Channel 18 on tape delay on Sudden Link cable. And I'm Don Julian with your play-by-play. We certainly appreciate you tuning in for this one. And it was, boy, didn't it have a great finish? It may have had some slow spots in there, but wow, what a finish. And the Wildcats win this one by the score of 5-4 over Marshall. Thank you again for joining us for this one, and so long, everybody.